what Tebow's got till he's in the game. But they don't want to believe it. They think it was a fluke. Huh. Well, the question is, do you agree or disagree? And for that, we'll start with Skip Bayless.
Thank you, Champ Bailey. I want to applaud you to start this show because finally somebody said what we've been saying on this show for about, what, Stephen A., 2 years? And finally it came from the mouth of one of the best players for the Denver Broncos, where Tim Tebow used to play, a perennial Pro Bowler, a probable Hall of Famer in Champ Bailey, who spoke the ugly truth right back at the Jets and basically laughed at them. Because, Stephen A., we said yesterday, the Jets just don't get it. The joke is ultimately on the Jets. We've been saying for 2 years, Tim Tebow's a strange cat. Hard to explain. As I said in the video, he shattered the mold almost inexplicably. He works hard. I'm not saying he works harder than anybody else, but he works hard. Practices poorly. You want to put him in a 7-on-7 drill versus Mark Sanchez? He's got no shot. But when you put him in a football game, and it's close, and it gets late, Tim Tebow wills himself into some weird, crazed, psychological zone. Somewhere, he goes somewhere else. He becomes, as I said in the video, a force of competitive nature. I don't know how to explain it, Stephen A., but he starts making momentum plays with his legs and with his arms, as we saw again and again and again last year. And the sorriest irony of everything that we're talking about right now is that he did this against those guys in the locker room who are now saying he's terrible. Can we just see some of those plays on that fateful Thursday night in Denver versus these same New York Jets? Are you kidding me? In that drive, Stephen A., Tim Tebow takes him 95 late yards. He throws 3 passes, completed for 35 yards. He completes passes of 18 and 9 yards in that drive. So he actually threw the football. And in that drive, he ran for 57 yards on 6 carries. 57 on 6. And, of course, that included the clutchest play of the game, which was a 20-yard run on 3rd down that wins the football game. It was on a silver platter. The Jets had him right under their upturned noses. He could have turned around their season. But no, they don't get it. He's a terrible practice player. Joke's on you. Thank you, champ. Your turn, Stephen A.
You know what, Skip Bayless? You know, it's 7 o'clock in the morning out here in L.A.
Wake up.
And to have to wake up to deal with this stuff, it's nauseating to say the least. And I'm gonna tell you why. Skip Bayless, everything that you say about Tim Tebow is correct in terms of him being a poor practice player. He's a momentum shifter. He's a game changer. He was 7-4 as a starter. He won a playoff game against the Pittsburgh Steelers. He threw for 316 yards. I have no stats whatsoever in front of me. I know these things by heart because they have been embedded in my brain by yours truly. You, okay? We know all of these things. At some point in time, and I'm being very, very serious here, I've reached a point where I think that it's time that you give America the explanation it deserves. And what I mean by that is this. Just like I know what Tim Tebow has done, Skip, so does America. You've seen to it personally that we all know what he's done. He's a gamer, he's a baller, he's a playmaker, he's a shot caller. We got the video. You understand? We want all of these things have been associated with Tim Tebow. With your face all over it. You have been a guy, you have owned this from day one. I will give you credit because you called it. You said he should have been playing. You said he should have been drafted in the first round. You said that he's somebody that should be playing. You said that you can't go by what he does in practice. You talked about how he never should have been demoted to 4th string. You talked about how John Fox and John Elway held him back. You talked about how he was stuck behind the 8 ball because he was playing for an organization that didn't want him because Josh McDaniels is the one who drafted him, and ultimately he was exited as the head coach for the Denver Broncos. Okay, so Fox was stuck with him and forced into the situation of being compelled to play him. We know all of these things, Skip. At some point in time, here is where you owe the American people an explanation. You need to explain to us how A man that is 7-4 and won a playoff game. Skip Bayless, I got news for you. There are other people who you will admit have performed, have produced, and still have gotten messed over, and yet somehow, some way, this individual is somebody that you continue to talk about day after day. You know.
I don't talk about him day after day. No,
yes,
I don't.
you do. Yes, you do, Skip.
Oh, please.
I mean, come on.
You bring him up more than I do.
Skip, sometimes I do bring him up. Sometimes I do bring him up. Don't say more. Let's not stop it. The fact of the matter is, all I'm asking you to do, I will give you my time. I would like you to explain to everybody.
Okay, we can deal with that. I want you to answer the opening question. Was Champ Bailey right? Are the Jets wrong? That's all I'm saying. I'm driving it home today. We haven't talked about Tebow in a long time on this show, but Champ Bailey is driving home the point that the Jets are making the mistake that the Broncos made for the first 4 games last year.
Skip, the reason why I don't have to spend time on it is because weeks ago I conceded that you were correct. So Champ Bailey coming out
well,
and
answer the question. You
said
agree?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Do the Jets look foolish? Do they look foolish right now?
Skip, I've said that weeks ago.
Okay.
I said that he should have. I said they should have made the move. Let's find out what this guy is worth and get this over with. I am of the opinion that he won't get it done once inserted into the starting lineup, but just to appease everybody and to get it over with, let's find out what he does. Because there is no doubt that he has earned the right for us to see what he can do on Broadway. He has earned that. There is no doubt that the New York Jets have completely misused this entire situation. And they have been, I would dare say, cruel to Tim Tebow in terms of their treatment for him. But, Skip, I didn't need Champ Bailey's quotes. I've said this weeks ago. Weeks ago.
Okay.
So I'm saying that's my point.
So your point is that I made up and exaggerated what Tim Tebow accomplished last year?
No, not at all. I'm saying to you that, Skip, even though you're right about what he accomplished, the fact that you keep saying this over and over and over again, what is it about this guy that you can't let go of?
Wait,
that's
is it?
What I
No, I didn't let go of anything. Is this a story right now? Is this the biggest national story in the NFL?
I agree.
So you're saying we shouldn't be talking about this story right now? Is that your point?
No. Today we should be talking about it.
Okay, we're trying to, but you won't let us.
What are you talking about?
Well, you're trying to change the subject and blame me somehow for it. I don't know what you're doing for this.
Skip, what I'm saying to you is this. The story is what it is. We know that the Jets have messed up the situation. We know that Mark Sanchez has looked awful.
Yeah, but you're saying that we're overhyping this story. That we're overreacting to it.
I am saying to you that Tebow Mania has been completely overhyped. And I am accusing you of being responsible for it. Yes, I am.
Okay, well, that's your opinion.
That's exactly what I'm doing.
Okay, so let's reiterate quickly, without going into any gory detail, what I did, and let's get to the deepest psychological root of your issues with Tim Tebow. You think that he got an opportunity that a lot of young black quarterbacks in the past would not have gotten under the same circumstance. Is that not your point?
Absolutely, and I've been on the record, and I've said that many occasions right on this show. Is that correct?
You have said that. So you're still clinging to that notion. Am I right about that?
That's one of the notions.
So let's reiterate now. Tim Tebow won a Heisman Trophy in college. Tim Tebow took over the fourth quarter of a game in which his team was the underdog, the national championship game against my University of Oklahoma Sooners. He took it over, doing this to the crowd. Remember that? And he, with some help from Percy Harvin, dominated my Oklahoma Sooners in the fourth quarter. And I picked on this show against them, against you. That you were back on the show the next day on the Tuesday morning. And I said, Stephen A., I will never bet against this guy again. And I didn't. So leading into that draft, I said, hey, silly me, I'd take Tim Tebow bottom of the first round. I never said he'd make a Pro Bowl. I never said he'd be a great quarterback. I just said he would be a successful NFL quarterback. And to this day, I believe with all my heart and soul, he could win more games than about half the starters in this league right now. Again, not elite. I'm not putting him in the Brady Breeze Rodgers category. He could win football games. So what happened? Josh McDaniels, he took him with the 25th pick in the first round. And then what happened? Tim Tebow got a chance late in his first year. He didn't start right out of the box. After Josh McDaniels was fired and a new regime took over, they said, let's get this out of the way. And they let him start the last 3 games of his rookie season. And what did he do, Stephen A.? When given that opportunity, he lit it up. And he went to the black hole against their division arch rival. He played really well in the rain at Oakland. He pulled off a near miraculous comeback against the Houston Texans in Denver, and he played pretty well against San Diego.
Still not
And I'm
the point.
saying,
Well, go ahead.
he backed it up. He got his chance and he backed it up. And they demoted him to 4th string in the next training camp. 1st round draft choice, 4th string. Is that like a lot of black quarterbacks before him? I don't know. They wouldn't have gotten drafted in the 1st round. But
They wouldn't have got the chance. They wouldn't have got the chance to do it.
Okay, name some, because you're going back 30 years ago. For the last 20 years, black quarterbacks have been drafted way above Tim Tebow
It's not
in the
about
1st
black
round.
quarterbacks. It's about quarterbacks that can't throw. And I'm not just going
He
to
just
the black
wins
quarterback.
games.
Wait a minute.
He's
I'm not-
unconventional.
Time
He
out, time
backed
out,
it
time
up.
Time out. Skip, I let you speak. Let me
No,
speak,
I'm not finished. No, you
Okay, go
started
ahead.
this. You said
Then go
explain
ahead.
it.
Then go ahead.
So what happened? That team with Kyle Orton was 4-14 in his last 18 games. Kyle Orton can throw 10 times better than Tim Tebow can in practice.